Hey all, it's great to have you back with me here in the office for another little tune. This is where we're producing the Appleseed these days from a couple of home studios, including this one. And you can hear the show at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, or whenever you want on demand at byuradio.org. It's sometime just about every day filled with stories for you and your family. Now, the song that I want to do for you today was requested by Heidi McFarlane, who heard this song at a party more than a decade ago. And I'm so thrilled, pleased that she remembers it so fondly. I'm very happy to do it. It's a song called Spaceman. And it was written after I heard a radio interview with Jerry Linenger, an American astronaut who spent some months aboard the Russian space station Mir. Now, he was on that station in 1997 and wrote a book in 1999 called Off the Planet that talked about his adventures in outer space. And those adventures included the worst fire ever dealt with in an orbiting spacecraft to date. Well, I wrote the song before I knew much about Jerry Linenger, but I've since learned more, even spoken with him on the Appleseed and gotten some of his story. I learned, for example, that battling that fire along with the two cosmonauts with whom he shared the space on that station, and thinking in that moment that his life had come to an end, he realized that he had not had time to communicate to his son, John, who was just a toddler back then, and of course back on Earth, all the things he knew and all the things he loved and all the things he believed and had learned. And he resolved that on each day left to him in outer space, he would write a letter to his son. And he did that on a laptop computer, transmitted the letters to mission control in Moscow, and finally to his family's home in the United States. Little John is a grown-up now, but he has those letters written to him from outer space by his father. And we have them too, incidentally. They were published all together in a book called Letters from Mir. And this song was written before I knew most of that. It's mostly about how being in outer space must be an incredible adventure and also must be incredibly lonely. Spaceman. 100 days in outer space, I sailed the starry sea in my $1,000 PJs with my black and white TV. Baby, no one speaks my language, and I cannot drink their tea. And the air all smells of cosmonauts, it's near too much for me. But I watch my baby planet hanging blue inside its bubble full of air. And it turns there in the silence, and my mind can see you turning there. Now the sunrise on the Rockies I could cover with a dime, and the pyramids of Egypt passed me for the 1,000th time. And 18,000 miles an hour up the universe we climb, and I do my bit for science while my spirit burns and burns. I'm riding in a Winnebago and there aren't any doors, and I pace and pace the ceiling. I assume you pace the floors. This has changed me for forever. I'm a far, far better man, but I wake up from my sleeping and I cannot find your hand, 'cause I'm a spaceman. Oh, baby, when this trip is over, and it will be over soon, I'll breathe air I didn't make. I will gaze up at the moon, and I will walk upon the grasses. I will eat soup from a spoon, and I will not float away when you reach out for me. So reach out for me. Galaxies are not enough without a hand to hold. Let me know I'm not alone, and warm me up from orbit's cold. Did I mention that it's changed me? I'm a far, far better man, but my bones are tired of weightlessness. So ground me if you can, 'cause I'm a spaceman, oh man. Spaceman. Thanks for joining me for it. Thanks to Heidi McFarlane for asking for it. And thanks to you for being with me here in the office. Hope to see you soon.